Good morning. Welcome to Forex In Four. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2011. All right. Well, this morning we're looking at the euro, and let's just do a little bit of a recap yesterday because there's not a whole heck of a lot going on today as far as news-wise goes. But it's always amazing that right after I do these videos in the morning and sort of tell people about what's going to happen during the day, you get some sort of exogenous event that causes the markets to go nuts, and then all of a sudden, boom! It sort of throws everything out of whack and what was going on. Well, yesterday we saw that euro had been climbing a little bit. And it had been for, the past week or so. It's bounced off the bottoms from last week when we had that massive selling. Well, yesterday we had this tremendous move, all right? Announcement came out at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and for the life of me, couldn't figure out what was going on. And, I saw a news story that Bernanke was speaking somewhere, and I thought maybe that was it, and nope, wasn't that it at all. It was coming out of the Eurozone, and basically what's happened is this, is that, they've been having these meetings of the finance ministers over in the Eurozone, okay? They got the ECB going over there, and they're trying to figure out what to do with this whole debt crisis with Greece, so on and so forth. Well, yesterday, let me backtrack a second here. So, one of the things that's interesting about this new ECB and this new Euro meeting is that our Treasury Secretary, Tim Geithner, is now over there. He was invited to come along. And, he's been, I guess, perhaps doing a lot behind the scenes, talking to these guys and saying, hey, listen, here's what you need to do. Let's get your act together, that kind of thing. Now, is that exactly what's happening? No, not really. But one of the things that came out of this yesterday was that they made an announcement that the U.S. was going to provide unlimited dollar liquidity to the ECB. All right, so there was a problem there where the banks in Europe were facing what some were going to call a liquidity crisis, meaning that they were under attack. People were shorting the banks, and banks that had sovereign debt problems were going to have trouble funding their operations. So U.S. government came in, basically, the Treasury, and said, all right, we're going to make, and the Fed, they said, all right, we're going to give you unlimited dollar liquidity so that you can continue operations and that sort of thing. Essentially recapitalizing European banks, if you think about it. So we had this huge spike that happened here yesterday. And you can see this. We went for about 125 pips, actually no, maybe 200 pips right out of the gate. Just a massive move. Okay, and you can see here that the euro's been selling off a little bit since then. So you can see that basically dollar. You can see the dollar move here, okay? Dollar strengthened versus yen here, but that came back very quickly, all right? But we have everywhere else, okay? There was new thoughts were that euro is moving up here, and you can look at euro yen. You can also see that big spike happening. Okay, so that was the big news of the day, was this dollar liquidity, because essentially providing more dollars out there, sending more dollars into the system. All right, that weakens the dollar a little bit and also helps out the euro. Well, what's happened since then? Well, now we're starting to pull back a little bit, and one of the reasons is that at this meeting you still have these central bankers, finance ministers trying to come up with the solutions here to what's going on, and now they're talking about what they're doing about Greece, and there's still some dissension about how they're going to ask for collateral from Greece and what they're doing. So, these guys haven't figured this thing out yet, and they haven't put together a concrete plan saying, okay, well, here's what's going to be. But right now, they're still figuring out what it's going to take for, what does Greece have to do in order to get the next tranche of loans. So, this is still a little bit of an uncertain situation because they have, the politics over there that's going on is, preventing, some of these things from taking place. So, we're going to have to keep an eye on that, but that's the major risk in the market right now. There's really nothing happening here. Yesterday, after this news came out, we had initial jobless claims figures came in here in the U.S., which were worse than expected by about 17,000. All right, the industrial production figures were a little bit better. Philly Fed came in worse. Well, this morning we've got some other just minor news that came out, but one of them was New Zealand consumer confidence came in a little bit worse than expected. All right, but you can see here that really hasn't done much to the Kiwi, all right, because we had Asian markets up overnight. Pac Rim Index was positive, and actually stocks in Europe are positive. Well, we're starting in the morning here in the U.S. a little bit lower, okay, on this thoughts of the ECB and the Eurozone ministers not being able to get their act together. So really not a ton of news happening here. There were some trade balance figures that came out showing Eurozone had overall a trade surplus, which I guess is a good thing. Then the only thing we're going to get here in the U.S. later today is the University of Michigan confidence figures, which no one's really expecting those to be high. So what we're seeing here is that we've got gold selling off a bit. All right, we're back to trading in the 1700s, but you can see a lot of that sell-off happened yesterday, and boom, we just did a short-term double bottom there, right at about 1765 off of the 30-minute chart. All right, you can see that also have the pound. The pound had been moving lower, starting to bounce up a little bit, but we're sitting right up above 158 right here. All right, now there's some thoughts that there's going to be some additional quantitative easing in the UK. I've discussed that over the last couple of days because of the weakening data. All right, and really that's about all we're looking at and seeing, because Aussie's moving up a little bit higher. That was on that pack rim move, but you can see here, I'll just pull it down to the 5-minute chart. Okay, they're starting to give back just a little bit in the morning here, and we're sort of sitting in these tight ranges. And I guess the market hope is that perhaps at this meeting at the in Europe, that somehow by next Monday they're going to come up with a credible plan. And I think Geithner's over there saying, listen, guys, the whole world is hanging in the balance, and you have to do something. Whether whatever the case may be, the uncertainty is sort of killing the markets, and every day you let this go by makes the problem get worse, and it makes it harder to come up with a solution. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he can get something done over there, which at the end of the day isn't a bad thing. But Eurozone really needs to decide who they want to be, what they want to do, how it's going to work, and how everybody's going to participate, because at the end of the day, there's obvious imbalances there, and it's the kind of thing where, if they can't get their act together, then it's sort of going to hold these global markets hostage. So really not a ton going on today. U.S. stocks look like they're set to open a little bit lower, but that doesn't mean we're going to stay that way all day. I think maybe there's perhaps a little bit of fear on a Friday going into the weekend that perhaps these EU guys don't get their act together, but it's just amazing. Every time something remotely negative comes out of the EU, boom, markets tank. So I think everyone's trying to avoid that situation. So that's what we're looking at today, folks. Good trading to all.